And welcome back. Now we are People and Politics, and being the first day of February 2022, the voter registration exercise ends in, so to speak, 5 or 6 days time, on 6th of this month. That is the date that was set by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And yesterday, according to the IEBC chair of Fletcher Bukati, the figures and the process is not all that good. The people who are targeted in this process generally are the youth. So are the youth responding to the whole process of voter registration? There is a bit of, people are a bit lethargic about this. So we want to find out why. And in studio, I'm joined by Ivy Wambui, Muchoki, who is a youth leader as well as an advocate in agribusiness. And she understands more on youth leadership. She has been an ambassador in so many platforms. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, let me start with you. Are you registered as a voter?
Yes, I am.
When were you registered?
Actually, I just did it earlier on this year, the beginning of January.
Yes.
And I believe it's actually the best thing we can do. Because, if young people don't come out to vote, then the next generation, we're going to all suffer. Let's just be honest, because our vote determines the next government.
Yes.
And the next government are the ones who are going to make the next 10 to 5 years worth of legislations that are going to affect the next coming generation. So if my urge to young people is that IEBC has really done so much with regards to helping and going out there and making us be aware of what is out there. So it's important to vote. It's our right. It's our right. It's the only way that you're able to declare, okay, fine, I'm going to vote for this person. This person has the best interest for me with regards to where I want to be in my future. And we are talking about young people not having access to jobs. Well, this is your time. If you vote for the right people, you'll have the right jobs. If you vote for the right people, you have the right healthcare system, the right opportunities are going to come to your way. But
you see, the so-called young people who we are talking about are the same people who are being targeted, and they're not going out there to take that document. When you walk around in almost all these registration centers, you'll find those officials sitting there, either one person or two people. What could be the reason?
For me, I believe that young people are kind of... politics has become a really dirty game. That's my opinion.
Yes.
So I feel, and I'm not trying to be biased with my information or my words.
Sure.
But I feel like young people also need to be enticed. We like nice things. We like nice things, and we like to be told what is the outcome. So for me, if I'm going to urge young people, you need to understand that voting is not just for the people out there. Your vote really counts. Because I'm talking, for example, I always like to look back at the story of Che Guevara. I don't know if you know him. He is the one who tried to create a kind of system that is, until today, Cuba. Actually, right now as we speak, they have free education from kindergarten all the way to university. They have free maternal health care for all the women, all the young people. If you reach the age of 18, you're paid by the government. So these are the systems that we are talking about by just voting. If young people just decide to stand up and start and realize that our vote, we're the next revolution, then we'll be able to actually
But perhaps the same youth you're talking about are not eager to get this information, because when you ask someone, it's quite interesting to note that some of the people you're talking about who you're advocating for them to go and register as voters, the interest that they have in terms of the democratic play and the whole game democratically, they're not interested. So let me just tell you something. It's true that democracy has actually played a very important role in Kenya. But at the same time, it's where everybody gets a chance to actually say something. It's actually that gives everybody and we're
a
enjoying
voice.
that space as a nation.
Yes, it's very beautiful. So I feel like if young people don't take advantage of this opportunity, we're going to end up maybe, let's say, in a wrong hands. And I'm not saying that anybody is in the wrong hands, but I am just saying that if you want to vote for the right government, the right leader, the person you feel has the best interest for you, then we need to actually go out there and just register. Because IEBC was targeting 4.5 million voters. But currently we're at least at 500,000. That is not fair.
That's a very bad figure.
And I'm sure the IEBC is looking onto the young people, because we're the next generation for the next coming 10 years. So if we want to change the systems, we have to actually vote. So if anything, one thing I was discussing with our chairman, he was telling me that apparently we can be able even to vote from home.
Yeah.
There are systems that have been put into place, even if you're in school.
Currently in Kenya, we can't do that.
We can actually. The systems have been put into place.
Okay, you need to expound on that, because the last time we checked, you have to go physically to the polling station and vote. It's like we are not in other developed countries where you simply log into some website, register, key in your ID, and you're done. Here, it's manually, amka for, and queue, and you're done. How is it done that somebody can vote remotely from home?
So in Huduma Center, they have kits that they've put in place that IEBC have put into place, and even in schools. So it just depends on what you want to do. So you just go to the Huduma Center, tell them I want to register, and I'll be able to vote from home. So these are the kind of priorities that IEBC has given to people, especially if they're not able, because you know COVID has really messed around a lot of people's affairs. So I feel it's a really good system. So young people, you don't even need to just go there and make a line. As long as you've registered with the Huduma Center or even in the schools. So these are the kind of kits that have been put. There are kits that have been put there specifically for voter registration.
You're so passionate about youth advocacy. What pushes you?
For me, I feel like I've had a very good mentor. She has actually mentored me for the past 6 years with regards to youth in agribusiness. I advocate for young people in agribusiness because I feel agribusiness is the future. It's where we're going to make the most money.
We all depend on agriculture.
Yeah, and it's where we eat. I mean, every morning right now as we speak, we're just thinking about coffee. We're thinking about what are we going to have, the bread, the next meal. So I feel like if we don't advocate for the young people in agribusiness and where they're going to get the next jobs, then I'm not doing the right thing. So my advocacy is more of passion, and it's also more of with regards to what I feel the young people need to look at.
When you walk out there, what's the response when you look at the faces of the young people and you advocate and to push them to take role and take their place in the democratic space that we enjoy right now? What is their response? So
young people, personally, I feel like they're still not sure. That
a lot.
They're not sure. There's so much uncertainty. They're so frail because they don't understand, you know, if I do this, are they going to take advantage of me? Is it really going to help me? But for one thing I can be sure is that I'm really proud of the space that young people are taking up. As we speak, there's so many young aspirants on the table. So it's like it's a takeover. It's like young people are realizing, okay, if I don't do this, then nobody else is going to do it for me. So I'm liking that kind of zeal and energy that the young people are having. Because if we don't take up these positions, then we're not going to make the change that we want to see for the next generation.
But you see, Ivy, you know, youth, that bracket is a very interesting bracket. That age group, their interest is completely on different things. Somebody will say, why would I take part or in an election, or why would I go and register as a voter? And their interest is completely different. You ask someone, have you taken your voter's card? I didn't know. Ekwanini, I just don't want to vote. You ask them, what is the reason? Stucky too. What are these stucky to? You know, because I need to understand why these stucky to. When you interact with the youth out there, perhaps you poke into their minds and you understand the reasons why they're not interested in voting. What are some of the reasons that they give out there?
Okay, for one, young people are just tired of being lied to. I'm being honest, and I know maybe my words might be a bit, you know, and I feel like, you know, that's why politicians, as we speak, young people are now trying to take over their spaces because they're saying, you know, we're tired of people telling us what we want to hear. We want to be the ones to say what we want to be heard. So if anything, what I hear out there is that they don't even understand what their vote counts for. So, for example, young people don't know that their vote counts for their health system. their vote also counts for with regards to even if more job opportunities, getting reimbursements, getting some little stipends even from the government. You know, these are the systems that your vote counts for. So I feel like there's a miscommunication somewhere that young people don't understand what their vote counts for.
Perhaps you can blame our leaders or relevant authorities because of lack of civic education, because if you don't educate someone, they'll not learn. So civic education plays a key role here.
Because, you know, information is power. The more information you diverse to the community around you, the more people are able to understand. So I feel like if we're able to just get those young leaders in the communities, within the communities, give them the aspect of this civic education, train them, make them understand what it means to vote. They will now go disperse the information towards their communities, teach their communities. So this is what your vote means. This is what happens when you vote for the right person. This is how we are able to get the numbers. So that
information is not getting down there correctly
because of the you know how information trickles down to the mwananchi on the ground. I feel it's very important. So how is it that we can actually do a statistics on how we can reach to these young leaders? And I know there are many, you know, they might not be in the government, but there are those ones who, those people in the community listen. They listen to them. They listen to them because they know that they have an ear. They have a way with the people. So we need to really reach out to these young leaders, get to understand what is their backgrounds and how they can be able to demystify this information towards their communities around them. That is how we'll get these numbers up.
The figures which was released yesterday by the IEBC shows a very grim picture. And perhaps, you know, just 5 days away, I don't think they're going to hit that target.
Actually, I'm very worried because I don't even understand. I think we should even be given more time.
It should be a continuous process as per the law.
It should be, but those numbers are very worrying, and it means that young people or the people who are supposed to reach out are seeing that voting is not necessary. And yet it's very important because your vote is you're trying to set a pace for the next 5 years. So what is going to happen for the next 5 years if you don't vote? Then that means the things that you wanted to get, you won't get them. In fact, they say that bad leaders are chosen or elected by good people who just decided not to vote. Exactly. You just sat home and then you watch, and then you'll be complaining, oh, we don't have this, oh, we don't have that. Yet you sat down, and instead of being part of the electoral process, being part of the change that is to come, then that's how you'll know that the future is bright. If you don't vote, then the future is not bright. So don't sit down and complain if you know you didn't vote. You know, it's like someone is telling you, you let someone cook that food. Sit in the kitchen. You've not taken any part. Hata kitungu ya 5 bob hujajunua, and then later on unasema hii chakula ni mbaya. This food is all sweet. Ama you didn't even participate in the process of making that food until you get it on the table. But then, you know, when you look at in terms of the demographic, IBC said that so far certain counties are leading, and perhaps at the end of the day, they needed more time, which has been given to them again. But some people are saying that they're not accessing these kits because either they're far away from them, accessibility is a problem in terms of terrain and what have you. Perhaps what can be done to change the whole of this so that accessibility is easy for the youth and generally public to register as voters? First of all, I feel like young people, they really like things that za kuchangamsha. I know. So if we can be able to bring like musicians, artists and what have you into the place so that they can be able to rally them. Oh, there's a concert here, but as that concert is happening, you net them with the IBC that is happening, the voter registration. So they'll just be before you enter the concert, you end up registering over there, then you enter into the concert. But Ivy, that sounds so kind of entertainment, but in real sense, the whole process of voter registration is quite tedious. Yes, it is. And getting the funds, IBC has been fighting with the Treasury, national government, we need this and that. The logistics, you know, you have to hire choppers, you know, far-flung areas. And then you can imagine you want to bring a caravan of entertainment somewhere deep in West Pokot, in Kapengura, all part of northeastern part of Kenya.
it just boils down to that personal responsibility.
Yes,
you know?
It does.
So youths are just okay with okay.
No, I wouldn't say they're okay with okay.
Yes.
I feel like there's so much going on with the young people, especially right now with regards to mental health. I've really seen it's actually a big problem towards our age bracket.
Yeah.
But what I feel like we should really urge the young people is that during this time, especially this period, this year 2022, it's an year of restoration. That's what I always say. It's an year that we get to change a lot of things that we didn't like in the past decade. So if we want change, especially with regards to our mental stability, our physical, we need to urge the young people that this vote is going to change that. We're going into a technological world. So we also need to understand that young people are not thinking the way they used to think before.
Absolutely.
We're thinking about innovation, technology. How do I do this? How do I do that? And the only way to make this into part of the systems of the government is by taking that vote. And that vote really matters.
There's something you said which is quite interesting, that there is a voting system that someone can vote from home.
Yes.
So think about this way. What if, my idea or suggestion, what if IBC made it so easy? Because you will realize that most of the young people right now can access smartphones.
Exactly.
So at the comfort of their homes, simply log in and vote, and you're boom, done.
Yes.
When you tell someone, you know, voting starts at 3 a.m., you have to go and queue at 3 a.m. Like, 3 a.m.?
Yeah. The tediousness.
And then unasema mpaka sangapi, like, hey boss, sometimes mpaka 5.
Definitely.
Mi siwezi. It's just that ability to transform and move the trend.
It's true.
Is that happening?
I feel like that's where we're heading into. And as I said, our chairman is really working day in and day night. And I don't know if you know him. He's a very young person, and I'm really liking the energy.
Shout out.
Joel.
All right.
He's a really good chairman for IBC, and he's really young. And I was really engaging and telling him, wow, really systems are changing. Young people should actually know that it's no longer the way things used to be before. We are actually looking at brighter ways, dedicated ways, and innovative ways to engage the youth. So it's something that I feel like instead of you thinking about how to go and make that line, go and apply in Huduma Center, or go and in the schools if you're in university or whatever, they'll actually explain for you the processes, and you'll be so shocked by what things IBC is doing.
Ivy, old habits die hard.
Yes.
As a country, I think you know, there's some systems which can be hacked. People hack bank accounts.
Yes.
People hack ATMs and what have you.
Yes.
Okay. We perhaps just need to get accounts with the old ways, so you know, as a country, how we used to do things.
True.
And just accept that we are in an electioneering period, and on 9th of August, we are going to vote. So perhaps before such systems are put into place, then it means that we just have to go back to the old system of voting, wake up, queue, and go home. The moment you see a young person not taking part in electronic in a democratic process, how does that make you feel?
First of all, I feel sad, because because I feel like that person doesn't know what that vote is for. They've not yet been sensitized on what that vote means. And that's why I'm saying, as our leaders and even our aspirants go down onto the ground and tell their voters, oh, I need your vote, they should actually explain what this vote means. They should explain that at the end of the day, this vote is your life. It's not just any other person, it's your individual life. If you want change, you have to make it yourself. You have to stand up, go and do the dirty work yourself. So I feel like the information that's been disseminated is not being well disseminated.
Who stands to lose and gain in the whole of this process?
I think we do.
We do as a nation? Especially
we do. We do. Because if we don't vote, because now I'm seeing the change of, we are actually changing the shift, our age bracket. For example, I'm not going to say my age, but
it's okay.
I'm between that age of, I'm between that age of, 25, 28 there. And I feel like this age of ours until 35, for the next coming decade, we are the next generation. So if we don't make these processes that we are doing, this electoral system that now we're starting to vote, then it's our children who are going to suffer.
Or even us later on, because all the legislations taking place, all the leaders that we pick today, because youth, you will not stay young for life.
True.
Okay? Those leaders you think are all right now, at some point they were also young, just like you. Definitely. And they took that risk to vie, to vote, and to take part in all these democratic processes. And here they are. So whatever choice you make today is going to affect you tomorrow. Perhaps that's what we don't understand.
I feel like if I'm to conclude and just to say that today is never determined. But if you make a decision today, it can determine tomorrow.
Sure.
I don't know if I've made sense there.
Yes, you have.
You can't know what is going to happen when you wake up in the morning, but if the steps and the plans that you make today can help you know what to do tomorrow. So all I'm urging young people is that this is your democratic right. As a democratic state, this is your democratic right to vote, to understand the rules, the regulations, and how the systems are working makes you understand what the future will look like. So as an agribusiness advocate, for the young people, especially wale wakulima weko kwa shamba, you know, we are actually asking for, you know, more subsidies on the ground, more seedlings, more what this vote helps to actually, you know, you'll get those things once you vote, because the leaders that will come, they'll come through that vote, and everything that you're asking for, the farm inputs and everything will come through this vote. So all I'm asking is that young people see the future, don't see now, see tomorrow.
In fact, most of the leaders are saying that when elected, they'll be subsidizing, you know, the price of fertilizer.
Exactly.
Because in Kenya, agriculture is our backbone. We depend on agriculture, and that's it. Are the youth getting dirty? Do they go to the shamba? Do they actually embrace agribusiness?
For one, I'm really liking the trend of agribusiness. We're not now talking about the old systems. Now we have things like hydroponics.
What?
Hydroponics.
Okay.
This is like...
Explain to Jen. Jen has just looked at me like hydroponics. Okay.
So hydroponics is a system in which you don't need to actually go on the ground with the soil. It's soilless. It's a soilless system of growing food.
Ivy, you can't say that.
Yes.
How do you grow food?
It's a soilless system. You don't use the soil from the ground. You use like coconut pit, you know, a kind of manure that can be able to grow this food, and it grows luxuriously, and it tastes so much better than even when you grow it on the ground.
You know what?
Yes.
Mr. Oloo is not looking at this. Because kulima is at 4 a.m. You wake up, shika jembe, go, lima. That's it.
But now there are monitoring systems. They're monitoring systems. You can even be able to monitor your produce from on your phone. Because of the systems that now are being brought. We have machineries now that are able to harvest on your behalf. You don't need to now go with a jembe. There are so many machineries that we even have that, you know, as someone who's been even doing a lot of international travels to China, this is the work that I go to check. I go to check on those machineries so that they can be able to come down to somewhere like Kenya or Africa, so that we can give our young people and show them that agribusiness doesn't need to be tiresome. You can add value. There's also the aspect of value addition.
That sounds so promising, but in our current state as a nation, I think we're too far from hitting.
No, we're not far. Actually, I feel like we're actually doing the most when it comes to this. For example, you know, an institution known as KIRDI, Kenya Institute of Research and Development. That is where we are actually training our young people to understand the aspect of value addition. If you want to, for example, make something like tomato sauce, you can go register with KIRDI. KIRDI will train you. You get the certification from KEBS, and then you start to even sell your products locally or internationally. So I feel like young people need to just look at means in which to just, you know, kupenya huko ndani, which one, what is exactly do you want? What do you feel can make more money? Because value addition is the future. Okay, there's this bit of value addition, and you have to make money as well as a station. And on that note, let's just take a break. Okay. Alafu tutarudi. Leo tunaongea mambo ya agribusiness, voter registration, and the youth. Interesting. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
and welcome back. Still on People and Politics, and today we are moving slightly different from the politics that we talk about, and we want to know the reason why you need to participate in an in a democratic process, because without elections, without voters card, all this will make no sense. And Ivy is still with me here in studio. Before we took a break, we were talking about value addition and issues to do with agribusiness. And, you know, agriculture is the backbone of our nation.
Yes.
When you look at the issue of Galana Kulalo,
yes,
the white elephant,
yes,
the government had this ambition, the vision, and the program was to sustain our breadbasket in terms of agriculture, but that just went down the drain.
I agree. It did go down the drain. But this is a very sensitive topic, and I don't want to, like, you know, dive so much into it.
It's in the public domain. Yes.
But I do know that it's still being worked on, and I believe that the future is very bright, especially with regards to the irrigation systems that are being put into place. Yeah. So it's going to be one of a very important space. Once it works out, it's going to be even like where young people even can be going to see what exactly it means to actually have an irrigation scheme that actually works and feeds thousands and thousands of people. Because I feel like if it works, then we can give hope to the young people who are out there. Because I don't want to put a negative aspect on it. I know it's not working out in the proper sense, but I believe that the government has good intentions for it, because it can't just go down the drain like that. A project can't have just been put into the ground and already sedimented, money was put into it, and for it to fail. I believe that the right systems and the right people are going to come, take over the project and help it to elevate it, so that young people can see it as a way in which it can become the next, you know, the next means to an end to actually feeding the next generation. You know,
around 2-3 days ago, in a group of, you know, friends, just, you know, having some good time over the weekend, one of us is in business, and he said, you know, I'm just in this business because I don't have a job.
Wow.
I'm in this business because I don't have a job. Yeah. And the business, he's doing the men clothes, the shoes, and all that. But their answer was, you know, me niko kwa hii job, nafanya tu biashara because sina job. Guys were like, hey, guy, you are making a big mistake, because most you think that for you to have a job, you must be in a tie, wake up 8 to 5. Now that's a job. It's just a change of mindset that we still don't have. That even as much as the government is saying that, you know, we have to go to school, the whole idea of having CBC is to equip us with the right, you know, tools for us to work, even without a white-collar job. But is that what's happening out there?
One, I feel like young people are also tired of going to the 8 to 5 jobs. Young people are becoming more innovative in how they're creating for themselves jobs. I'm seeing a lot of trending. I'm seeing a lot of young people becoming their own CEOs. For example, I look up to this girl called Ogutu. She just got Forbes under 30, and she's very young. And if you look at her, she's actually in the oil space. Oil. Who would have thought that a young woman would actually have created an environment or a company in where she's advocating for women in the oil sector? It's young people are tired. Let me just tell you the truth. They're tired of actually being told what to do, in quote unquote. Quote unquote. So they want to make systems that actually work for them. So, for example, I actually run a company where, as much as I'm also an advocate, I have my own agribusiness company. And I do value addition of dried fruits, herbal teas, and juices. And I've employed about 5 to 6, 7 employees. That's
employment created for someone.
You see. So where we are going, there's not enough white-collar jobs for young people. There's not enough white-collar jobs. But if we can tap into the spaces that are already there and see, okay, fine, I'm good at computer science, I'm good at computer IT, what can I do to create a chain of people who are interested in what I'm doing? There's this thing called cryptocurrency. I'm not even sure how it's running, but I feel like it's the one that's taking over right now. So how is it that we can engage young people? What is this cryptocurrency? How can I tap into it? Is it the future? Can I make a little bit of money from here? Can I train young people on how to do this cryptocurrency and create a booming, you know, ripple effect? So these are the things that young people are starting to look at, especially during this COVID times. I feel like it's given young people a space and an opportunity to actually see, what is it I can do even when I'm still in the house? There's been even young people are even making their own, for example, there's this lady, especially that I normally buy from, but the dawa. You know, everybody now was looking for the ginger and the what have you. So now she actually created a whole company. Now she distributes up to 5 liters of dawa, and it's very good, very well sedimented, very well, you know, it's kept, packaged. And I'm just saying, these are ways in which young people are now starting to look how to make money for themselves on the side.
So it's an opportunity that we don't have.
It's a very big opportunity, very big.
And you know, when you talk about opportunities and the youth out there trying to get, you know, their space and to earn a living, sometimes it needs a very small spark of motivation and direction and mentorship. Perhaps this is what the youth are lacking.
I believe that for us, especially the young people, without mentorship, you will go far. I personally am still being mentored, and I'm still looking for more mentors, because at the end of the day, wisdom comes from those who have already lived the life before you. So in order for us to move forward, we need to look at the past. You can't ignore you can't ignore going forward without looking at the history. The history determines the future. So what happened in the past, maybe that went wrong or right, you have to know so that you can make the right decisions going forward. So for me, I just believe that this government, especially during this IEBC time, this vote will actually help to even know if the next generation will be able to be mentored by the right people. Just recently, we were having a conversation by our PS of industrialization, and he was really receptive to our conversation. He was really receptive to listening to what the young people had to say. And I'm just saying that these are also the mentors that we also want to see in the next government. Because, you know, you need, as a young person, you want someone to just listen to you. I'm having a problem on this. You know, you need someone to tell you, okay, Ivy, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing right. And this is what I feel that you'll do best going forward.
And perhaps that's why most youth are plunging into politics.
Exactly. You see, and I'm feeling like politics is actually becoming a space in which young people feel they can air out their voices. Especially with regards, and I still continue mentioning this aspect, a lot of young people are going through mental health issues, and it's not because that they want to go through, it's because they don't know what to do going forward. There's so much, it's like a whole hullabaloo of things going on that they don't even understand. What should I do going forward? Am I making the right steps? Am I doing the right thing? So with this vote will actually determine the next leaders, the next mentors, and the next revolution of young people.
So in other words, the older generation should hold the hands of the young people and work with them and give them the guidance in some of these processes. Perhaps a majority of people are going to vote for the first time. They have no idea what it means, the whole process. For them, they just go take your voter's card and get ready to vote on August 9th. It takes me back on what I talked about mentorship, but then now, some people would say that most young people are obsessed with quick money. You wake up in the morning, you have everything done by evening, you're a millionaire somewhere in account, no names touched here. But perhaps that is what's in the mind of a youth. We don't want to believe in the process.
One thing that my mentors keep telling me, that processes are the ones that are going to determine where you go. So you can't skip the processes. The processes determine, and also the processes determine your patience. They determine even the level of which, once you reach there, how far you'll have gotten through these processes. So you can't skip the processes. You can never skip processes.
It's like you want to skip the process of growing up. You're born today and then the next minute you're old.
I know, and especially as young people, you want fast things, everything. You want to see results today. But let me tell you something. Even as I'm going to quote from the Bible, when Moses was taking the people from Canaan. There was a process that had to go through before he actually reached Canaan. There was a process. And those are the processes that young people need to believe, that in order for you to reach somewhere, you need to take your time, understand, evaluate your situation, evaluate your character, evaluate who you are as a person. So by the time you reach there, you even have time even to mentor now the next coming generation. Because that's what it is. It's generations and generations to come. So you need to understand, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And if I'm doing it wrong, how am I doing it? And if even though I'm doing it right, is this going to affect someone on the right? Is it going to affect someone here? And how am I evaluating it? These are the questions that need to go through. So these are the processes that we really need to take advantage of, and we need to understand good things take time.
Good things take time. You've touched on a very salient positive point there, because when you look at the processes that we have right now, there's that issue of quick fix. You want it right now, and that's how you want it. Even patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. But if you don't practice it, then that's the moment we're still getting into the issues of mental illness you're talking about. It's something that we even discussed here as a station. You know, the mental health is an issue that everyone at some point is affected in one way or another. But some of these things can be controlled only if we get the right processes, we hit the right buttons, and talk to the right people and do the right thing.
And especially right now, young people, I feel, are everywhere. You're not targeted, you're not focused. I'm also someone, I'm also not saying that I'm also very focused at everything, but I'm learning. You know, learning is a process, just as the way you're talking about processes. You learn and you get better every day, each and every day. So if young people can actually take their time, get a roadmap, understand, who do I want to be in the next 5 years? And in those 5 years, understand the processes. Get to have someone who can even take you through these processes. Learning, getting to understand, even to give you, to regulate you and to enter you into these spaces that you're not wary, that you're not very wary about. Getting to understand this people who, you know, have already been in the space. So young people, I feel like, I will advocate and I will emphasize that if we don't take our time to do things, and even now, if we don't take opportunity to even take our vote, then we won't understand the processes, we won't understand what it means to even do this. We will just be, you know, so confused everywhere, always wanting this, this and that. But if you have a target, if you have a mindset, if you have a focus and a drive on where you want to be, then you'll understand how the processes take place.
Directors, did you hear that in the gallery? Thank you.
Okay.
Let's talk about youth and politics, and leadership as well. Most of the young people, I've hosted a couple of them here, who want to get into the political scene, either for the first time, or some of them are vying for a second time, but a majority of them are getting to politics for the first time. What do you think is driving the youth and the young people generally into politics?
Change. They want change. And since maybe they believe the leaders that were there before are not giving them the change they want, they want to drive the change themselves. And I'm still going to emphasize about Cuba. It's a country that I always look up to, because the things that are, even though they are not economically in a good state, the kind of healthcare system in Cuba right now, do you know we are importing doctors from Cuba? We have them here because of the systems that they put into place during the voting process, during their elections. They actually demanded for good leaders, and they were given it to them. It was given unto them. Right now, the government of Cuba supports all the young people to do anything that they want. If you're a young person at the age of 18, the government actually pays you until you even get a job. These are the type of processes that we're actually looking for our young people. If our young people just come together, if we just come together, because we're about 60 to 70%.
Yes, with the total population.
It's a very important target. If we just come together and understand what we want, then we'll be the voice of everybody.
But the level playing field the playing field is not so easy for the youth. It's rough, because you can imagine somebody wants to get into politics and the first question is, sina pesa?
Exactly. Because of course you're also looking for resources. I have a couple of friends who are also vying for maybe MCAs, women reps and what have you. They're really having a hard time. But wanajitolea.
Yeah.
They're actually unajitolea. You can see their effort. You can see their, you know, their cry to just want change for the next generation. Especially with regards to health. Because you know now health is becoming such a need. It's not even no more a want, it's a need. Because you know
it's a necessity.
COVID came at a point where nobody was ready. Nobody was ready for it.
Yeah. We
didn't even know what we were going to do. People are being told to stay in their houses. You know, it came at such an alarming rate. So if young people can see that these are very, very critical times.
Yes.
Times that we are not, anything can happen. So we need to be on top of our toes just to understand what exactly is happening in this era. How is it we can change the next generation? How we are doing the next things, you know? It's very important. It's a very critical time, and I'm very worried about us youth, especially right now. If we are only at 500,000 on the voting on our registration, then young people they're lacking information. They don't know what exactly is happening.
Can one, for example, a youth get into a political seat without millions of shillings to campaign? Is it possible?
Yes. With the right target market, with the right processes and the right people behind them.
Okay.
I know you'll need a little bit of, you know, funds here and there to mobilize, to do all this kind of things. But at the end of the day, how your strategy, you know, I always say strategy is key. Strategy is how you're able to target and to understand your niche and where you're targeting. If you understand your strategy, if you understand who exactly you're targeting and the people, then you'll take that thing in the morning. In the morning. You won't even need to, you'll just be sitting down and waiting. In fact, you'll be asleep even.
I like the way you put it, make it so easy. Then you take that thing in the morning. Most of the politicians and the aspirants I talk to say that the only thing that they suffer from is the emotional drain they get from politics, because it's not even the financial bit of it, it's the emotional torture they get, because you feel like you've done so little and time is running out. So you have to be emotionally stable, physically stable, and spiritually stable as well, because in politics everything can go south at any given point. Allow me to ask you this question. Most youths are getting to politics because they want to get rich, not because of leadership. So this negates that aspect of change.
For me, I always believe that it also depends on your character and who you are as an individual, and what your values, what do you want to be seen as as you grow and keep going forward. Yes, there's that notification that young people feel like once you enter into politics you become rich, but I don't believe that's really the case, because if we have that kind of notion that getting into politics you'll just become rich just like that, then what happens to our next generation? If that's how we are thinking, then won't they even think worse than us?
Personal interest,
you know. So I'm just feeling like it depends on your character, and I really like what you said about, especially about the spiritual aspect in this political field. What do they say? Vindu vichenjanga. I think that's what they say. Things just change anytime.
We've just seen the earthquake the other day, 2 weeks ago.
So I believe that in this space, especially in this political space, don't forget God. Don't forget, you know, just that aspect of connection with a higher being is very important, because you never know what's going to come. You never know. But being prepared for it spiritually, physically, is what will enable you to actually know what you want. And this aspect of you saying that when you enter into politics, you'll become rich. There are many politicians I know right now, and they don't, they are still not living the way they thought they would be living. It's
terrible, I can tell you. It's terrible. Some of them don't even pick up calls because of the problems that they have. Ivy, let me ask you this question. You've traveled across the world, and you've seen different cultures, you've met different people, you've interacted with different governments across there. What comparison would you give Kenya and other nations that you traveled across to?
First of all, I believe that Kenya is a middle-income economy. And where we are right now, I'm quite impressed, I'm sorry to say.
You are quite impressed?
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with us with regards to how we are moving with regards to infrastructure and the roads and the systems, and how we are adapting to the innovations and technology.
Yes.
Because that's what's happening out there. Fine, our young people are not as happy as they should be, especially with regards to jobs and everything. But if you look at our economy and how we are actually developing, we are going at a very fast rate. They say when we go, especially to places like Nigeria and what have you, they say Kenya is the London of Africa.
It was the former president of Tanzania who said that if you want to see the skyscrapers, don't go to the US and UK. Go to Nairobi hapa.
Yeah.
Just come to Nairobi.
It's so true, because I know maybe there's, you know, in every good thing there's also a bad thing behind.
Yeah.
But you always have to also look at the positive aspect. We are really moving at a very high rate at which we're developing. It's very crazy. Look at how we've taken over Safaricom. Safaricom has now even gone and entered into Ethiopia, a country that actually never even used to like anything to do with their communications being tampered with.
Yeah.
But Safaricom won the bid. It means that we are going somewhere. It means that we have a purpose. Kenya actually is on the map. And I'm actually very proud of His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, of what he has done for our young generation. He's actually showing them that these systems that he's putting into place, he's putting them for us. They're for us. They're for us, so that our next generation can be able to see that, you know, things have been changing. So how do we adapt to this change and make things better for ourselves?
In fact, that's the whole essence of having a government.
Exactly.
To make sure that if you're in power for 5 years, your target is the next 5 years after.
Yes.
All right? You're looking at the next generation, not the current generation.
Yes.
Well, you serve the current generation, but whatever you do, the project is for posterity.
Yes.
The next generation.
Yes.
I asked that question because when you look at Kenya, where we are right now in the global map, most people come to Kenya for benchmarking.
Yes.
Kenya is considered one of the safest countries even to do business.
Yes.
In the global market, we have good tourism, which because of Corona dwindled a bit, but we are picking up slowly. In terms of governance and administrative, how is Kenya playing out there with the peers in the global arena?
Kenya is on the map. As we speak, His Excellency is actually chairing the Committee of the UN Security.
Yes.
That is such
a
big deal.
Exactly.
You understand what that means for especially us, the younger generation. He's putting systems in place that, you know, we're the ones who are controlling the peace and security now on a global platform.
Yeah.
And we all know that now we are actually being monitored. So we have to be a peaceful country. We can't even fight anywhere in the map. We can't. We have to also now look at our president as someone who is benchmarking on our behalf. We also have to see him as the UN Youth Global Champion.
Yeah.
He's literally trying to put spaces in which that we can see how can we tap into. You know, how can we use this and leverage to become better as a young generation? Yeah. This is opportunities that have been opened. As we speak, I never knew that we could actually even be part of the Caribbean islands. But we are chairing. Our president is chairing the Caribbean islands. Just recently, Barbados became a republic. Why? Because of the negotiations that are happening. This, I think, now it'll be, even I'm sure now flights from Kenya to Barbados and to the Caribbean islands will be cheaper because of what? The interactions. We are actually creating a means to an end. We are merging. As we speak, we have the African Free Continental Trade Area.
Yes.
This is a means.
The barriers have been tackled properly.
This is where now young people can see, how can I tap into this? We can be able now to trade freely without those trade barriers, without actually having, you know, aspects of paying more taxes, more what. We are merging. It's a change. It's a revolution. It's actually something that needs to be considered. And young people can see this as a time for opportunities. Rather than complaining, look at the opportunities that have been set on your table. It was not like this for our parents' time.
No,
it was not.
Things have changed.
So things are really looking up, and I feel like if young people can actually see this as a time in which to restore what had been done in the past, then we'll have something to look forward to.
We can have this discussion until I don't know what time.
True.
It's getting hotter. Actually, we are almost closing. I want to give you 30 seconds if you can. Please just look at that camera and talk to the youth out there. Give them some hope, because at the end of the day, we are the next generation.
Yes.
In 30 seconds if you can.
Okay.
All right.
So what I want to say to the young people out there is that look at this opportunity, or look at this time as a means to an end. It's a way in which we can actually control what we want to look at in the future. So young people, take your vote, go out there, register, and actually take this as an important decision that you'll make on the 9th of August. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that is the best point for us to close this discussion. Thank you so much. We've been speaking to Ivy Muchoki Wambui, all right?
Yes.
Yes, who is an advocate and the youth, and she's also quite actively involved in the agribusiness. And if you can't get dirty, you don't have to eat. Even the good book says that. You must work and then you get paid and you must eat. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have much more after this break.